The story opened with Sunraku defeating the Dark Lord and being congratulated by Princess Furia for his victory. He then scolds Furia for being a threat and kicks her, marking the end credits of Furia Chronicle Online. At school, Rei prepares to greet Sunraku, but another classmate interrupts and starts talking with him, causing a distraction. After school, Rei enters a video game store run by Mana Iwamaki, but Mana informs her he's not here due to playing a special trash game, Furia Chronicle, which may take longer to beat. Sunraku then enters and asks Mana about some other trash games. Seeing him, Rei hides, and Mana is surprised that Sunraku finished the game. He then explains to her how the game was so bad and the female lead was the worst. Mana then advises him to try Shangri-La Frontier, a game with over 30 million players, which isn't a garbage game. Upon coming home, Sunraku discovers the game has a record with simultaneous player logins and starts playing. He chooses a twin-blade mercenary job and wanderer origin due to its luck bonus. Next, Sunraku designs his character's appearance, ignoring armor for better weapons. He sells his starting gear to earn 9,000 game currency. He hides his face with a bird mask and chooses Sunraku, a name derived from his real name. He skips the story introduction and goes straight into the game. Sunraku finds himself in a forest, testing his movements in a game where players start in a tutorial town. He discovers he's in the Rampant Forest, next to Firstia Town. He heads towards the town and checks his stats. Upon encountering a goblin, he uses his mercenary twin blades to defeat it, increasing his level. Sunraku then encounters a powerful Vorpal bunny attacking him, but dodges and defeats it. He gains 2 levels from the bunny and learns Flash Counter, a new skill that gives bonus counters from parry. Sunraku is excited about trying different fighting styles and not encountering bugs, which is usual for a trash game. He searches for more Vorpal bunnies to obtain the bunny's kitchen knife. He realizes Vorpal bunnies are rare enemies and defeats them multiple times, gaining 2 Vorpal choppers. Screw Pierce is the most useful for quick strikes. He discovers, upon opening the map, that he has ventured quite a distance from Firstia and is near Secondale. But to get there, he must cross a bridge that the area boss monster, the Ravenous Snake, is guarding. Level 10 with a part of 3 people, the suggested level for the boss. Sunraku ignores the warning and goes straight to battle the snake. Meanwhile, in Firstia, Rei, a high-level knight, searches for Sunraku, who uses the same name in this game but fails to find him. Sunraku faces the giant snake. He decides to employ Tap Step and initially dodges its attacks, but it breaks his weapon due to low durability. He switches to Vorpal choppers and prepares to land a Screw Pierce, but the snake poisons him. Feeling that he misjudged the serpent, Sunraku figures he has 4 minutes left. Though it seems like a difficult target to strike, he tries for the head, but concludes it is a hard place to hit. Using Screw Pierce, he then chooses to take advantage of the snake's weakness and kills it by stabbing it in the eye. Sunraku gains 2 levels from the snake, reaching level 14, and receives Python Scale and Python White Hair items, and heads to town to buy an antidote in Secondale. Mia and Reiji, 2 players, decide to tame a dog-type monster, and Sunraku runs towards them. Mia fears Sunraku is a monster and draws her bow. Reiji explains that killing a player will result in a skull in front of her name. With just 1 HP left, Sunraku makes it to the bed. As he becomes joyful, his HP reaches 0, and he dies. Afterwards, Sunraku explores Secondale town and shops to buy a map, recovery items, and new equipments. He buys split blade leather and considers wearing the split blade leather mask, but decides not to due to its weird appearance. To reach Third Rima, players must pass through Dire Marsh Waste, a location where ores can be mined. Sunraku struggles to mine for ores and gets frustrated with the mud and heavy pickaxe. He defeats a mud frog using his slash-resistant armor and obtains mud frog skin. Sunraku collects a dozen gray ores and finds a marsh coffin fossil to create a marsh dagger. The NPC makes 2 marsh daggers with a half-life after a critical hit, which can be upgraded using magic. Sunraku is impressed by the NPC's response and is excited to test his new weapons against night monsters. Rei, who had searched the first zone, had not found Sunraku and believes he defeated the giant snake without dying. She kills the snake herself in one strike. Sunraku faces a red-capped goblin in the dire marsh waste, a powerful and aggressive monster with a lot of HP and feints. Despite his previous encounters with night monsters, the red-capped goblin calls more monsters for help, surprising Sunraku. But suddenly, the goblins are defeated, and Sunraku encounters a unique monster, Lycagon the Night Slayer. Meanwhile, a monitor in the video game company's offices shows that there has been no progress made in the game's story, indicating that not a single unique monster has been eliminated. The next day, Rei meets Reiji and Mia, who ask if they have seen a player named Sunraku. Reiji confirms that Sunraku was poisoned by the giant snake and ran into Second Deal. He explains that Sunraku was naked with a bird mask. Rei discovers that Sunraku had indeed skipped the first town. Reiji recognizes her clan emblem, which is focused on hunting the unique monster, Lycagon the Night Slayer. Reiji then explains to Mia that unique monsters are a special class of monsters with a name and title. They don't respawn when killed, and there are 7 unique monsters in the game. Many top players have formed clans focused on taking them down. The unique monsters are strong and have been around for a year, but not a single one has been defeated so far. Sunraku faces the unique monster Lycagon the Night Slayer, who he realizes will defeat him with a single hit. Sunraku tries to perfect parry and counterattack, but his attack has no effect. Sunraku equips the Vorpal choppers and lands a critical hit on Lycagon's paw as it attacks. He dodges several times and lands a second critical hit. Lycagon then disappears and appears behind Sunraku, but Sunraku manages to dodge its attack in time. Sunraku continues fighting, but the wolf strikes Sunraku's legs and cuts them. Sunraku then told Lycagon that no matter how long it took, he would certainly defeat him. Sunraku is then killed by Lycagon, which also activates the Lycagon's mark curse. Sunraku respawns in Second Deal, where he has a curse applied that prevents him from equipping armor on the cursed place. Sunraku becomes frustrated and decides to refine his build, but ends up investing his points elsewhere, not on vitality. Shortly after, a bunny lands on his head and waves at him. Sunraku realizes it's a Vorpal bunny and wonders if they spawn in town. He goes after it, hoping to capture it for a rare item. The bunny leads him to a dead alley where a door appears on the wall. The door reads, "Invitation from Rakutou, a unique quest that unlocks conditions and content not publicly known." Sunraku enters the door, failing to see the recommended level is 80. Sunraku finds himself in a town full of Vorpal bunnies called Rakutou. The bunny greets him and tells him that their boss wants to see him. Sunraku hopes it's not because he killed many Vorpal bunnies, but the bunny assures him they are not petty for revenge. Upon reaching the palace, Amul explains that Sunraku is the first to enter the unique scenario. Sunraku realizes he's the only one who has encountered this unique scenario. He meets Vaisache, the boss of Rakutou, who is happy at least someone brave enough to fight Lycagon. And that's the end of this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.